On the night of August 8, 2012, the dash cam of a Louisville Metro Police Department cruiser captured a tense moment. An officer pulled over a Honda Accord with expired plates. Inside the vehicle were 3 people. The officer quickly noticed the nervous and anxious behavior of the driver and passengers.
His own car before driving around for 3 hours and making a drug buy.
As they were exiting the vehicle, 1 or 2 of them banged on the trunk. That's when I heard the white female laughing.
After a few seconds, the officer heard strange sounds coming from the car's trunk. Listening closely, he identified the sounds as kicking and yelling. The officer called for backup and forcefully detained the 3 suspects. When the officers cautiously opened the trunk, they found a man with a towel tied around his head and his hands bound behind his back.
The commotion in the trunk got the cops' attention. Officers then call for backup and individually pull all 3 suspects from the car. Then, with weapons drawn, officers cautiously pop the trunk and find the kidnapped clerk inside.
The man in the trunk turned out to be the owner of the vehicle. He had been working the closing shift at a gas station 7 miles down the road. After closing up the store and walking to his car, he was attacked by the 3 suspects. They stole his car, tied him up, and stuffed him in the trunk before fleeing.
The trunk was popped. I exposed my hands like the officers asked me to do. They opened up the hood and there was probably 8 or 10 cop cars there.
The suspect was about to escape, but the cops had a better plan.
Get on the ground!
The officer is mounted on a horse, chasing an escaping suspect in a parking lot and yelling for him to stop.
Found it, one still running on Iron Point 5.
She chases the suspect past the parking lot and around the mall. The suspect seems to have gained ground on her. At the back of the building, she finds that her colleague has apprehended the criminal. The suspect had stolen something from the mall, which led to the manager calling the cops. On the floor is a piece of cloth, one of the stolen items. On December 31st, 2023, a 911 call alerted Weber Area Dispatch about a car driving west on I-84 toward Riverdale Road. The driver, identified as 19-year-old Carter Edelman, was reportedly highly intoxicated. Police officers attempted a traffic stop, but Edelman sped away.
It helps. He was doing 80 on Riverdale.
Okay, it looks like I might have a trooper behind him, so.
He's at 1900 West. He's probably going to be going south.
A high-speed chase ensued, stretching through Roy and Riverdale and involving multiple officers from different agencies. During the chase, Edelman deliberately hit 2 police cars. Eventually, officers fired at Edelman's vehicle, bringing the pursuit to an end. Both law enforcement and Edelman sustained minor injuries. The tow truck driver was called to check on a vehicle. Yet this simple check goes wrong. The cop was called to the scene because of a strange vehicle parked by the side of the road. The cop calls a tow truck driver to come tow the vehicle. The tow truck driver examines the car to see if it's in good shape. He kneels and looks into the underside of the vehicle. Unknown to him, a car is driving past the curve in the road. The car skids on the wet road and ice. It drives dangerously close to the driver of the truck. He brings his head out to see the vehicle narrowly missing him. In another incident, a police dash cam captured an officer noticing a man running along the road. Aware of an escapee in the area, the officer stopped him. The officer extensively questioned the man, asking for his name, address, and identification.
You live around here, boy? No. Where you live at?
Down the road by Pineville.
Pineville?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you have any form of identification on you?
No, man.
What's your name?
Robert Jones.
Robert Jones.
The man, identified as Richard Lee McNair, the actual prison escapee, desperately tried to convince the officer that he was just a jogger. Despite McNair's obvious lies, the officer let him go.
I'll be on until we find this on the gun.
Well, my dad's an auxiliary detective.
Where at?
In Dallas.
Oh, okay.
The posse is what they call it.
Yeah.
He's 70 years old and he's been doing it since 63.
The suspect made it for the cops to get to him. He tries to defy the odds. The cops are chasing a vehicle with a suspect in vicious weather and a slippery, wet road. The suspect cuts through traffic, almost hitting some cars on the road. The cops carefully pass through the traffic and keep chasing him. The female cop in one of the cars shits on the car's window frame and shoots at the tires of the vehicle. One of the tires is affected. The suspect still does his best to escape but fails as the cops box him in. A police dashcam captured a terrifying moment when a speeding semi-trailer crashed into several stopped cars during a traffic jam on Interstate 70 in Lakewood, about 8 miles west of Denver. The massive collision involved 4 semis and 24 cars, resulting in a huge fire.
Followed by a freeway fire, scorching several cars to their core.
There is a complete fire. Things are exploding.
Denver authorities now confirming 4 fatalities. The coroner's office still working on identifying the victims.
The driver responsible for the crash was identified as Lázaro Aguilera Mederos, a 23-year-old from Texas. Despite the severity of the crash, he was not seriously injured. At a press conference, police stated that there was no evidence of drugs or alcohol and no indication that Aguilera Mederos intentionally caused the crash. Unfortunately, 4 people lost their lives in the fiery accident.
Aguilera is cooperating, and even though they don't think he acted deliberately, they are holding him responsible for the deadly accident.
A young suspect might be showing the cop a few quick steps to death. The cop is chasing a suspect driving recklessly through a crowded street. The cop makes close calls with other vehicles on the road. The suspect looks like a teenage boy. The cop is having a hard time keeping up with the suspect weaving around the vehicles. Seeming to be frustrated with the cop, the suspect tries to ditch the cop by increasing his speed. He can't go at that speed for long and falls off his bike. He tries to run on foot. Police dash cam footage from a California Highway Patrol vehicle shows a dramatic moment. The 2 officers inside were responding to a reported structure fire when a massive mudslide suddenly occurred on the road. By the time the officers noticed it, it was too late to react. The patrol vehicle was swept into the mudslide, lifted off the ground, and spun around by the force of the rushing mud.
Dashcam video shows officers responding to a fire when they unknowingly drove directly into the path of the mud flow. The fast-moving tide of muck and debris lifted the vehicle off the ground.
Miraculously, the officers managed to regain traction and drive ahead of the slide. With little else they could do, they warned pedestrians and watched the terrifying sight of the mudslide barreling down the road.
Floating along, after about 15 seconds, the vehicle regained traction and both officers managed to escape unharmed.
Swarms of men were caught jumping out from an unexpected place, leaving the cops stunned.
You're northbound 281 south of the scales, correct?
Devil.
The cop stops a suspicious white truck on the road. After asking the suspects to exit the vehicle, they pretend to leave the truck before taking off.
1080. We're gonna go 281.
The suspects try to put distance between themselves and the cop. The cop gives chase and sees the truck driving off the road. The truck stops in the field, and soon dozens of men start jumping out from the back of the truck and running away. They had been hiding under cartoons covering them. In Clearwater, Florida, 2 police cruisers, both equipped with dash cams, were responding to a traffic stop on North Keene Road. Just 2 minutes after they arrived, a small plane hovering in the air slowly came into view. It quickly became clear that the plane was descending and heading straight for them. The plane's right wing clipped a tree while descending, causing it to spin out of control and crash on the side of the road.
DASHCAM video shows the crash of a small plane in Florida. Watch your screen as it comes down. 2 deputies responded to a call for an unrelated incident yesterday morning. Look at that close call.
The 4-seater plane had taken off from a nearby airport and was piloted by 61-year-old Mark Allen Benedict, with 1 passenger aboard. Due to engine failure, Mark had no choice but to crash land in the middle of the road after reporting the issue to the airport. Miraculously, both Mark and his passenger walked away from the wreckage with minimal injuries, and no one on the ground was hurt.
The pilot and the passenger were not hurt. Authorities are still investigating the cause of the crash.
The cop had everything in order, but the suspect did the strangest thing.
Keep along, keep along, keep along.
The cop has stopped a woman he suspects to be drunk. He uses a breathalyzer on her to test if she's drunk.
And it's going down.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Go ahead and put your hands behind your neck.
He finds out she's drunk. She tries to sweet-talk the cop. She keeps pressing the cop to drop the charges, but the cop moves to arrest, and she resists.
About the whole situation. Let me get my husband on the line.
Okay.
She hops into her car before she can be arrested and speeds away. The cop runs to his car and chases after her. However, he has lost sight of her. He drives for miles and doesn't see her car. Police dashcam footage captures a wild incident where a woman steals a cop car after escaping her handcuffs. The woman had been arrested after falling from the ceiling of a burning apartment. When the police checked on her, they found she had drugs and meth. She was then handcuffed and placed in the police car.
Get out the door. It was too smoky.
In the car, the woman is visibly agitated and looks for a way out. She manages to slip out of the handcuffs and notices the window is open. When a police officer briefly checks on her, she pretends to be calm until he leaves. She then takes off her hoodie, slides through the window to the front seat, and steals the car. The officers quickly notice and chase after her in their vehicles. The woman reaches a top speed of 126 miles per hour, driving through 3 communities before being caught. The chase lasts about 10 minutes, covering 20 miles. This highly intense chase will keep you on the edge of your seat, but not in a fun way. This high-speed chase involves 2 suspects on a bike trying to escape the cop. They almost crash into other vehicles, the same as the cop. With the speeds at which the suspects and cop are driving, they are increasing the chance of an accident. Also, the cop can't close the gap between him and the suspects. The suspects almost run into a bus on the road. They recover and get to some dwellings off the road. They fall off their bike and take off running. Dashcam footage shows a dramatic police chase involving a group of teenagers who stole a red Kia in Wisconsin. The video captures the teens driving recklessly to avoid capture, nearly causing several accidents.
Lining up, it's going northbound. In pursuit, east on Orchard.
The pursuit continues for a while when suddenly, the Kia starts emitting thick smoke. Despite this, the teens keep driving at high speed, still trying to evade the officers. The officers attempt to take another route to cut off the teens, but the Kia speeds past them, with fire blazing underneath the car. Due to the flames, the red Kia eventually slows down, allowing the officers to finally catch the teens.
Eastbound 9 connect from 6-8. Go. Good.
Lots of flames underneath the vehicle.
It's fireworks on the road, but it's frightening how this plays out. On the highway, this suspect is firing fireworks at another cop's car. Other cops are chasing him, but the cop under fire can do nothing about it. The suspect keeps shooting fireworks on the highway, putting everyone on the road at risk. The suspect runs out of fireworks, making it easier for the cop to chase the suspect. In dashcam footage, everything seems normal until a police officer spots the driver ahead, appearing highly intoxicated. The officer tries to pull him over, but the driver speeds up, attempting to escape. The chase lasts for a while, with the driver weaving through traffic dangerously. Eventually, the chase ends when the driver crashes into a parked car on the street. It's fireworks on the road, but it's frightening how this plays out. On the highway, this suspect is firing fireworks at another cop's car. Other cops are chasing him, but the cop under fire can do nothing about it. The suspect keeps shooting fireworks on the highway, putting everyone on the road at risk. The suspect runs out of fireworks, making it easier for the cop to chase the suspect. Milwaukee police engaged in an intense pursuit of a reckless driver behind the wheel of a sleek black Chevy. The chase lasted for some time until the black Chevy collided with a nearby lamppost. Swiftly, the officer parked his vehicle and hurried to assist the driver. From the dash cam footage, it's evident that the driver was injured, but thankfully, the officer had already requested backup.
Crash! Sherman North! Sherman North.
These cops chase this suspect, but fail in a crucial aspect. This might be their downfall. The cop arrives at a spot on the street and waits for the suspect to pass the area he's waiting in. The suspect arrives as expected, and the cop moves to chase the suspect. The cop orders the suspect to raise his hands. the suspect runs into the bush to get away from the cops. The cops, about 4 cops, run into the bush after the suspect. The cops are slow and sluggish, not inspiring confidence that they will catch the suspect. The video began with an Indiana deputy driving through the darkness when he suddenly found himself ensnared in the grip of an intense EF2 tornado. The deputy could be seen desperately attempting to outpace the tornado in a frantic bid to reach safety. Several were not enough to stop the suspect, but with a useful tactic, he might listen the hard way. The cops are after a suspect escaping on a motorcycle. The suspect had not stopped for the cops when they ordered him to do so. They determine the suspect's motorcycle poses a danger to the road he is riding on.
I never received that from before.
The suspect is unable to outrun the cop car and crashes behind the cop's car. He falls off his bike. He gets up and leaps on one foot to get to the bush. The cops capture him before he does that. He is cuffed. Dashcam video showed a Clark County deputy chasing a woman accused of driving away from law enforcement on 3 prior occasions in Ohio. The pursuit came to an end after the woman identified as Paula Potter lost control, hit a light pole, and a tree. Authorities said Potter was arrested for multiple misdemeanor and felony warrants and charged with 2 additional felonies. Her passenger had 2 warrants. Potter was taken to a local hospital and then taken to jail, while her passenger was taken to a local hospital in serious condition. The cop encounters a strange sight on his patrol, a troubling occurrence. The cop is on a routine patrol around the neighborhood when a truck drives out of an intersection. The truck goes slowly and abruptly turns on its backlights. The truck begins to cough up smoke and heave on the road. The cop reverses to put some space between him and the truck. The smoke from the truck fills the road around the truck. The truck drives with the smoke coming out of the truck. It stops after a while and the truck stops, so the cop can come to inspect it. The dashcam footage captured a heart-pounding chase where a 49-year-old man named Michael Roll raced at breakneck speed to evade a police officer. This nail-biting incident unfolded around 9:30 in the morning on a Saturday. Roll careened off the side of the road, tumbling down a cliff in a frightening climax. Roll stands accused of blowing through a stop sign on Boudry Road and colliding with another driver on Beauchene Road. According to the affidavit, Roll turned hostile when the officer attempted to approach him and jot down his license plate number. Court records indicate he hurled racial slurs at the officer. The affidavit further states that Roll bolted from the scene when backup arrived. Legal documents reveal he reached speeds nearing 100 miles per hour and was apprehended after flipping his car and crashing into a fence by the roadside. He now faces charges of assault, hit and run, eluding, and driving with a suspended license.
We can't access him. copies. Look out of the vehicle on the other side of the fence.
721-6787, Abra Mary.
Copy.
Like a swarm, they flooded the street, but you could hardly guess who they were. The cop pulls over a truck he sees with far too many people. When the truck pulls over, the illegal immigrants in the car run out of the car quickly. The truck drives off, leaving those people to fend for themselves.
Just Bill out 10 now.
The cop chooses to chase after the driver rather than the people. The chase leads him to a highway with the suspect.
One at gunpoint.
An officer deploys a tire deflation device on the road, which the suspect drives over. He then loses control, ending the pursuit. The man is promptly arrested. The dashcam footage revealed the shocking moment when a police squad car accidentally struck Madison Dixon, a wanted individual, during a pursuit. Dixon was being chased by officers Kayla Johnson, Detective Ronnie Letherman, and Officer Jonathan Grafton after she fired shots at Johnson and Ronnie. Dixon had been wanted for a series of crimes in the Tulsa area, including multiple shootings. One incident occurred in Midtown, resulting in a man being rushed to the hospital. Additionally, there was a shooting in the parking lot of a Walgreens, an armed robbery at a Best Buy store, and a report of someone pointing a weapon at an AMC theater. This high-speed chase takes a while, but in the end, it also takes the cards of escape off the table.
Bob Charles 603 Del Rio, I'll be 1080.
The cop pulls over a driver for questioning, but before the cop can leave his vehicle, the suspect drives away in haste.
We're now going eastbound.
The driver goes at a fast speed, whipping up dust in his wake. He crashes into an electrical pole, bringing the chase to a halt.
That took off.
You in the trunk or no?
No, well, they had the trunk down.
Okay.
Or the back seat down.
Okay.
And so I think they all just kind of started crawling out.
The cop finds 3 illegal immigrants in the car, and the driver is injured. On October 7th, 2022, around 1:29 a.m., dashcam footage captured New Haven police rushing to a reported car crash near the intersection of Chapel Street and Blatchley Avenue in the Fairhaven neighborhood. Upon arrival, the driver of the vehicle unexpectedly opened fire, striking an officer in the shoulder and once in the ear.
Fucker!
The cop bravely returned fire, causing the suspect, later identified as 36-year-old Jose Claudio, to flee from the scene. Claudio is later apprehended at his residence on Putnam Street in Hartford without incident. The suspect was cooperative with the cops, but that hid something far more disturbing.
Come on out. The registration's also.
The driver has been stopped by the cop for violating a traffic regulation. The vehicle stops by the side of the road. The cop asks the driver to get out.
I'm going to Del Rio to pick up, and then going back to La Pryor to pick up, and then shooting out to Austin.
The driver gets out, and the cop begins to ask questions. The driver doesn't answer them satisfactorily. The cop asks to see what's in his vehicle, and he agrees to do it.
Okay, yeah, that's why I don't know if you see all the border patrol and all the highway patrol all up and down the road. You don't have none of that stuff in here, do you? No. All right. Would you consent to just opening it up and showing us what's back there?
He opens the back of the vehicle, and the cop sees illegal immigrants being smuggled into the country. He arrests the driver. The cops now count the people in the vehicle. A newly released DASHCAM video revealed a police officer distractedly texting while behind the wheel, mere moments before a car crash. Authorities concluded that the other driver was to blame after crossing the median on August 15, 2019. The DASHCAM footage vividly depicts the other vehicle veering over a curb amidst trees and colliding with the police officer.
Sync will attempt to call 911. If you wish to cancel the call, please hold the phone button.
There seems to be no trust among criminals, and this proves it. The cop pulls over a truck for a traffic stop. The driver takes his time and drives off the road. The cop follows him till he stops. Immediately, several men revealed to be illegal immigrants open the doors and jump out of the truck. They ditch the driver in the presence of the cops. They begin running on foot and cops chase them.
Get down! Get down! Get down! Get down! Head behind your back! Head behind your back!
The cops successfully chase some of the men and apprehend them. On Thursday, January 18, 2024, DASHCAM footage captured Trooper Jesse Gregory conversing with a driver from the passenger side during a traffic stop. Suddenly, a black SUV collided with the stationary vehicle on Interstate 40 at Cimarron Road, propelling it into a grassy area beside the highway. The suspect seems like a regular old trucker, but the cops find something irregular about him. The cops stop a trailer crossing the border to see what the driver is transporting. The cops don't have a good feeling about this. They ask the driver to leave the vehicle.
Come here. Get out of the car. Or the truck. Any weapons on you?
1100.
Some cops climb up the trailer to see what is behind the truck. The other cops hurry the driver to leave the vehicle.
Good. You know why you're being placed under arrest?
No, sir.
No? What do you got in here?
I didn't even check the trailer when I was there.
The cop helps the illegal immigrants out of the back of the trailer and then arrests the driver. On Sunday, May 19, 2024, around 8:19 p.m., a Fort Worth police officer's DASHCAM captured a tense moment. The officer received an alert about a possible suspect vehicle linked to a shooting near the 4800 block of Miller Avenue, which occurred the previous day, on Saturday, May 18, 2024. As the officer trailed the suspect vehicle, A witness informed investigators that the suspect pulled over and exited with his hands raised. But before the officer could activate his emergency lights, the suspect unexpectedly grabbed a gun and opened fire.
On Saturday, May 18th, around 6 p.m., the day prior to the officer-involved shooting, the suspect, Mr. Thompson, is observed on video pulling up to a business located on the 4800 block of Miller Avenue. He then exits his vehicle and begins to approach an alleyway behind this location.
Despite the danger, the officer swiftly retaliated, prompting the suspect to retreat into his vehicle and flee. The officer pursued for about a mile until his patrol vehicle malfunctioned. Fort Worth officers then took over, continuing the chase into a neighboring city. They eventually apprehended the suspect, identified as 33-year-old Devarea Thompson, at his Arlington residence within 2 hours of the confrontation.
All right, take your time, take your time.
Lay down on your stomach. Lay down on your stomach.
Take your time. Lay down flat. I'm ready, Bobby. You ready? I'm ready. All right.
The cops present a present to a suspect, but it's a deadly present. The cop quickly brings out the kit for a spike strip that she will set on the road to stop a fleeing suspect. The suspect is close to the trap site. A cop orders his colleagues to leave the road quickly. The suspect reaches the cops, but before he gets too close, the cop throws the spike strip on the road. The suspect drives over it speedily. The spike strip works, puncturing all the tires of the car and stopping the suspect. They apprehend him. The Brevard County Sheriff's Office recently shared DASHCAM footage revealing a harrowing attack on 2 deputies during a routine traffic stop on US 192 in West Melbourne on August 30th, 2021. The incident unfolded around 1 p.m. on a Monday afternoon when Deputy Brian Potters pulled over a vehicle just west of Interstate 95 in West Melbourne.
In the car? All right, partner. He wants to talk to you out here. Is that all you're... Yeah. I'll watch it for you. He's all right. I got babies. Oh, you got a dog too? Hell. I'll make sure.
Upon arrival, Deputy Tyler Toman joined Deputy Potters to assist with the 3 individuals in the vehicle. During the stop, it was discovered that there was a baby in the back seat. When the passenger in the back seat, identified as 38-year-old Paris Wilder of Cocoa, was asked to exit the vehicle, he promptly stepped out and brandished a short-stock rifle, firing at Deputy Potters. Deputy Potters was struck in the lower leg, prompting both deputies to return fire to protect themselves, the others present, and the 2-month-old baby caught in the middle of the shootout.
I'll make sure they're all right. I got babies too, man. Huh? Okay. Shit! Shit!
Deputy Toman swiftly engaged Wilder, firing multiple shots and neutralizing the threat. Unfortunately, the suspect was pronounced dead at the scene, ensuring the safety of the deputies and those involved. The cop encounters a one-of-a-kind kind of situation twice within just a minute. The suspect in his Jeep seems to be messing with the cops. He slowly zigzags on the road, making it hard for the cop to overtake him.
What you doing, champ? Okay, Google. Call 911.
Calling emergency services.
The suspect does it for a while. Another car needs to pass. The driver of this car takes the chance to overtake the car. The suspect chases the car for a while before backing down. There is a smaller car with a driver also driving erratically on the road. The cop wants to work with the first erratic driver to bring the smaller car under control. On May 1st, 2023, around 11:38 a.m., a patrol officer was conducting a routine traffic stop with a gray 2012 BMW on southbound Fairfax County Parkway near Braddock Road. Meanwhile, a 17-year-old driver in a black BMW M3 was speeding northbound on Fairfax County Parkway. Losing control, the black BMW spun around, crossed the median, and collided with a community member's vehicle before slamming into the officer's patrol car.
Bravo, start me rescue, start me units, accident, right here at County Parkway, south after Braddock. My cruiser was hit, driver was hit. I'm trying to check on injuries.
The cop was doing his job, but he seems to have gotten it all wrong. The cop chases a suspect in a silver car, but doesn't engage with the car. At an intersection, the vehicle goes off a different road while the cop stops. He has been informed he is chasing the wrong car. The cop turns around and soon he chases up with the car he ought to have been chasing. Getting to the suspect's car, the cop initiates a Piet maneuver that stops the vehicle in the middle of the road. The cop will make an arrest.
We're stopped now.
On May 20th, 2023, DASHCAM footage captured Arkansas State Police Trooper Jackson Shumite initiating a traffic stop on a black GMC Sierra along with Trooper Van Schoik and Trooper Escamilla. Behind the wheel was 42-year-old Christopher Monroe, who had previously evaded police on May 4th and the 19th. Just 10 days earlier, authorities in Rockwell County, Texas, had issued a warrant for his arrest for fleeing in a motor vehicle. As police tried to block him in, Monroe fled, prompting a chase. Early on, Trooper Van Schoik attempted to halt the vehicle but ended up sliding into a concrete barrier instead. Despite this setback, the pursuit continued. Monroe and the pursuing police cars raced over the Arkansas River at speeds of around 120 miles per hour. Monroe then doubled back, but only made it a few blocks before being rear-ended by police, causing his truck to roll and crash into a brick wall.
Roll over.
The cop was going through his routine before it was brutally ended. The cop is on the road going about his routine patrol of the street. Out of the blue, something slams into the side of his car as he crosses an intersection. His car flips over. A CCTV camera in one of the buildings on the street shows a driver blazing through an intersection and crashing into the cop's vehicle. The suspect's car is lightly damaged in the front. Concerned citizens rush to the cop's aid, asking how he is. He tells them he is good as they try to get him out.
Are you okay? I'm okay. Just hang on. Just hang on. Just hang on.
The impact was so intense that the police car itself nearly flipped. Upon removing Monroe from the vehicle, officers discovered 64 grams of ecstasy, 100 grams of meth, 436 grams of cocaine, and other drugs inside.
man. Let's get going.
Hey, stand him up, mate. Go out there. We're in the car right now. Get the road clear.
After a long chase, Karma decided to catch up with the suspect. Chasing an escaping suspect, the cop turns onto the highway and drives up to 100 miles per hour to catch up with the suspect. Lucky for him, there's no traffic on the road, yet no sighting of the suspect either. The cop soon reaches the suspect, whose car seems to have malfunctioned in the middle of the road. The cop calls for backup.
Alright, wreck at just south of Hampton on Port Washington.
The suspect leaves the car, hands up, walking backward to the cop. The backup cops arrive and they go get the abducted child the suspect was escaping with. The cops then arrest him.
Slowly.
I got you covered, Revere. You got arrest him over there?
Fox Valley Metro Police reported a 14-year-old boy in a clown mask caused a disturbance at Kimberly's Sunset Park late Sunday afternoon. The teen blocked a one-lane road in the park where a father and son were driving. Upon being asked to move, the teen brandished a real knife, holding it menacingly but not chasing or displaying it. This marked the second incident at Sunset Park that day. Earlier, police were called when people spotted a clown carrying what seemed to be a sledgehammer. The clown explained it was a plastic prop for a game of hide-and-seek with friends. This strange suspect puts the cops on edge in worrying circumstances. While driving through a deserted street, the cop stops as soon as he sees a suspicious man walking with his shirt off in the cold. The man is pointing a knife at the cop. He seems to be threatening and insulting the cops. The cop orders him to put the knife down. He doesn't comply. The man seems to be mentally challenged or drunk. He keeps pointing at something off the camera. He throws the knife to the ground and approaches the cops with his hands up.
Alright, hey listen.
I got taser.
Alright, listen. Get down on your knees.
Get on your knees.
The cops gather around him to arrest him. On November 11, 2018, Washington County Corporal Brett Thompson pulled over a driver in a green Saturn vehicle for a traffic violation near Steel Road in Taneytown. Instead of stopping, the driver sped off, turning onto Steel Road and slowing down, but refusing to halt. Finally, the driver stopped on Steel Road. As Corporal Thompson approached, the driver opened fire, prompting Corporal Thompson to return fire in a tense exchange of shots before the suspect fled eastward on Steel Road. He drove a little, stopped, and dropped off a woman from the car, then drove away once more. The woman surrendered and was taken into custody by the officer.
What the hell is he doing? Get on your knees. All right, put that down.
The cop was just positioned at the right place at the right time. This trucker is driving through a windy day with snow covering the ground. It approaches a curve in the road. The driver is unable to control the vehicle as it goes out of control and slides dangerously off the road. The cop goes to check on the driver. He almost slides on the snow, but he makes it to the truck. The driver doesn't seem to be hurt. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol recently shared DASHCAM footage of a trooper-involved shooting that occurred in Woodward last August. According to reports, Trooper Austin Ellis tried to pull over a driver, Arturo Ramirez, for not wearing a seatbelt. However, Ramirez didn't stop as expected. Instead, he drove into the parking lot of a Days Inn hotel on Highway 183 and started shooting at the trooper. Despite being hit in the chest, Trooper Ellis's bulletproof vest saved him, while Ramirez was wounded in the hand by return fire. Ramirez then fled the scene with the trooper in pursuit. Trying to escape, Ramirez sought refuge in a residential garage along Western Avenue before allegedly breaking into a nearby outbuilding. A sight could be so beautiful that it turns terrifying. The cop dashcam was the only evidence available for this. While on patrol, the cop drives through a traffic-free road with little to no movement. Everyone is home resting, and neither is the cop chasing a suspect. The cop and the police dashcam capture a bright meteor streaking through the night sky quickly, briefly illuminating the sky before it crashes. Its location hasn't been determined if it hurt someone. Many missed the scene. A brave lieutenant from the Walton County Sheriff's Office intervened in a situation involving a suicidal man armed with a rifle, as captured on dashcam footage. The video depicts the man standing outside a vehicle when Lieutenant Mark Hess approaches. Suddenly, the man brandishes the rifle, prompting Lieutenant Hess to draw his own service gun. Despite repeated pleas from Lieutenant Hess to lower the weapon, the distressed man refuses and advances towards him, demanding to be shot. With courage and quick thinking, Lieutenant Hess tackles the man to the ground as he attempts to pick up the rifle. Another officer secures the weapon, while Lieutenant Hess subdues the man with a chokehold. The cop's attention was divided, and that led to what he never planned for. The cop is on his phone while driving. The road seems empty for miles with barely any traffic. He keeps tapping on his phone while briefly looking up at the road and steering. The cop is engrossed in what he's doing. He doesn't see an out-of-control car from his left that comes and collides with his car. He seems to have suffered some light injuries, but he still leaves his car to check on the car that crashed into him.
A 911 assist call is being placed. Sync will speak first to the 911 operator before opening the line. Please wait.
The police dash camera footage captures the terrifying moments leading up to a train colliding with a van at a rail crossing in Brook Park. The incident unfolded near Route 237 and Holland Road on Thursday. According to police, an AT&T van veered past the railroad gate and got stuck on the tracks. This chase took too long to end, but when it did, the suspects did the unexpected. The cop is chasing a carjacking suspect. The suspect is going at crazy speeds on the road and drives against incoming traffic to escape.
And we are going westbound on Mill from 60th, approaching 64th Street.
The cop catches up to the car. Seems the car runs out of gas. The suspects in the car get out about to flee on foot. The driver doesn't run. He raises his hands in surrender. He is arrested while the other cops chase his escaping accomplices. In the video, Trooper Mac Mickens was on the Florida Turnpike in West Palm Beach. He was walking back to his vehicle after pulling over a speeding driver when another driver collided with him. Mickens, a 60-year-old trooper, found it challenging to rise as his pelvis was severely shattered and his face was bloodied. After several minutes on the ground, Trooper Mickens managed to reach for his radio to call for assistance. The suspect proved to be too smart for her own good. The cop is chasing a suspect in a stolen truck. The suspect abruptly stops in the road twice, making the cop collide with the truck. The suspect stops after a while, looking like she wants to surrender. Rather, she reverses her car and slams the rear into the cop's car. Another cop car chases the woman and successfully uses a pit maneuver to spin the car out of her control. The woman lies on the floor in surrender, and she is arrested. The dashcam footage reveals police officers engaged in a lengthy pursuit of a vehicle in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Eventually, two other officers managed to block the suspect's path and successfully capture them. The cop sees the most unsettling sight while on patrol. The cop's dashcam captures an airplane and makes an emergency landing on the road. The airplane successfully lands without exploding from the collision. The cop car catches up to the airplane as it approaches an intersection with traffic. The plane stops just in time. before it crosses the intersection. The pilot leaves the cockpit of the plane and follows the cop.
I see him getting closer and closer to the ground. The wheels hit the ground, kind of wobbles a little bit. He was able to hit the brakes to bring it to a stop in the center turn lane.
On March 25th, DASHCAM footage captures Deputy Wayne Wagner stopping a truck at the mobile gas station along 4th Street North in St. Petersburg and assaulting a woman. Based on the video evidence, there's no doubt that Deputy Wagner attacked the woman, identified as Paige Taylor. Shockingly, Wagner fabricated the entire incident, falsely claiming that Taylor had initiated the attack by pushing him. He even charged Taylor with battery on a law enforcement officer and resisting an officer with violence. However, after Sheriff Gualtieri reviewed the footage, the charges against Taylor were dropped. Wagner faced disciplinary action, including suspension for violating the department's pursuit policy, and ultimately, he was terminated for employing excessive force and fabricating a police report. Fate was playing peekaboo with this cop in a dangerous situation. The cop stands outside his car in the snow. He is watching out for something. Then he sees something coming at him and edges away from the road. He goes to hide behind the car on the side of the road, but he leaves and tries to return to his previous position. The cop runs as far from the road as possible. A car collides with the cop's car, damaging the side of the car.
Hang tight! 16 radio,
The vehicle that caused the damage spins on the road. The cop goes to check the car out. The Ohio State Highway Patrol shared dash-cam footage of a trooper getting struck by a car during a traffic stop. Sergeant Jim Smith from the Chardon Post was conversing with another driver at the roadside when a car collided with his cruiser and also struck him. Fortunately, the driver responsible for the accident escaped injury, but no explanation was provided regarding the cause of the collision. A brave cop was needed in this dire situation, and this cop rises to the job. This cop arrives on the scene to see two vehicles trapped in a flood. There is someone in the red car, an old man that needs to be rescued. The cop on the scene is perplexed about what to do. The red car begins to sink with the man still in it.
That's a car with an elderly man inside. Conroe officers spotted the submerged vehicle and have arrived on scene to rescue the man.
A plainclothes detective decides to wade into the water and save the man as they are running out of time. The car is submerged when the cop reaches the car, but he saves the man and brings him out of the car in time.
The detective carries the exhausted driver to a safe spot while a tow truck pulls the vehicle out of the water.
North Salt Lake police recently released dashboard camera footage capturing the moment a Utah Transit Authority front-runner train collided with a FedEx truck on a Saturday morning. UTA's investigation revealed that the crossing gates were not functioning properly, with the flashing lights and bells, which usually warn of an approaching train, inactive due to a power outage or signal loss. Reportedly, the severe ice and snow conditions at the time affected the gates, causing them to remain in the default down and active position as programmed. After an employee intervened, the gates moved to the up position, leading to the accident. Fortunately, there were no serious injuries in the collision. The suspect's escape route seemed secure enough, but the cops knew better. Two cop cars are chasing a suspect who is escaping in a four-wheeled bike. The man rides into a field, making it hard for the cops to follow. The cop takes a different route so he can join his colleagues to tackle the suspect. They had gone around the field to cut the suspect off from the main road. The cops apprehend the suspect and bring him into custody. The police recently released dramatic dashcam footage showing a carjacking suspect firing shots at officers from the Chicago Police Department. The footage captures Charles Lawson, 24, shooting a gun out of the stolen vehicle's window. One of the bullets grazed the officer behind the wheel in the face as the squad car pursued Lawson. He then continued firing at another responding squad car, prompting officers in that vehicle to return fire. Lawson eventually crashed into a parked car near 100th and Eggleston. He appeared to toss the gun out of the window before being taken into custody. A bright light approached the cop, but the result of this wasn't fun. The cop has been informed of a wrong-way driver. He drives to intercept the driver as he poses a risk to other vehicles on the road. The cop is about to make a turn at an intersection when a car coming from ahead crashes into his car. The driver is arrested for drunk driving and wrong-way driving. The cop isn't injured from the collision. A dashcam video reveals a brutal attack on a Brooklyn Park police officer. When the officer tries to make the arrest, trouble erupts. Car suddenly turns and unleashes a barrage of punches on Hyman. The two engage in a struggle, tumbling to the ground. Nearby residents hear Hyman's cries for help and dial 911 for backup. The video captures Hyman's desperate pleas as Carr continues to assault him, punching, choking, and wrestling. Before backup arrives, Hyman fires his gun but misses Carr. A struggle ensues over Hyman's pistol, with Carr managing to eject the magazine, rendering the gun useless. 3 minutes into the ordeal, sirens signal the arrival of backup. However, Carr persists in his assault on Hyman. It takes a shot from a police officer's taser gun and the combined effort of 3 other officers to pry Carr off Hyman. The cop had to watch a pillar of destruction do its job. The cop's car is in the middle of a storm as rain pelts his car. He has been advised to leave the area.
I'm at 825 east and 200 south. I've got a visual on a funnel cloud.
As he turns his car around, his dashcam captures a tornado a few feet away from him. The tornado gets stronger, forcing the coup to drive away slowly. The cop gauges that the tornado is moving eastward. The tornado doesn't come the cop's way, so he stays out and watches the cop spin away.
939 Kidnapping, copy. Hold your bucket. Hold your bucket.
On Tuesday, May 9th, 2023, on Interstate 64 eastbound at milepost 72, an ISP trooper stopped to help a stranded motorist on the right shoulder. Upon reaching the scene, the trooper encountered 23-year-old Brandon Griffin of Albuquerque and 31-year-old Christine Santos in the vehicle. A second ISP officer arrived shortly after for routine assistance. While at the scene, a fight broke out, leading to gunfire exchanges between Griffin and one of the responding officers. After an exhausting chase, the cop took a risky chance to end it. The cop has been chasing a suspect escaping in an RV for up to 15 minutes. He is planning on how to stop the vehicle as the suspect isn't listening. The suspect reaches an intersection, and the cop takes the chance to use a pit maneuver on the RV, stopping it. The suspects, 2 women, are arrested. A cop goes through their RV while the other one questions them. A dashcam video reveals a brutal attack on a Brooklyn Park police officer. When the officer tries to make the arrest, trouble erupts. Carr suddenly turns and unleashes a barrage of punches on Hyman. The two engage in a struggle, tumbling to the ground. Nearby residents hear Hyman's cries for help and dial 911 for backup. The video captures Hyman's desperate pleas as Carr continues to assault him, punching, choking, and wrestling. Before backup arrives, Hyman fires his gun but misses Carr. A struggle ensues over Hyman's pistol, with Carr managing to eject the magazine, rendering the gun useless. 3 minutes into the ordeal, sirens signal the arrival of backup. However, Carr persists in his assault on Hyman. It takes a shot from a police officer's taser gun and the combined effort of 3 other officers to pry Carr off Hyman.